To all who come, welcome. Disney is a time machine that takes us back, connects us together, and shows us that not even wishing upon a star ever gets old. Now come sit with your friends Jonelle, Sean, and Megan as we deep dive into the heart of Disney.
If you had to change your fate, would you?
I don't know.
Today, ladies and gentlemen, friends of Disney and all non-binary friends, welcome to our very special Disney Princess Season episode of Brave.
That was a very brave way to say all that.
You might be saying, Megan, what's with the energy? I apologize in advance if you hear a little sniffly, a little bit of something clacking against my teeth. Hear a little rapper. I'm not rapping. I am currently sick, so I have to suck on cough drops. And you might be wondering, Megan, where's Jonelle?
Or Sean, where's Jonelle?
You're
Gosh,
right.
Megan. Such a mic hog. No, Jonelle's going to be taking a break for a little bit because life's been busy. So you get me and Megan for a while.
Our fabulous faces? What? Us? No way. It's not like we live together or anything.
But yeah, we're talking on Brave.
Brave.
Okay, you like Brave a
I
lot, so I'll let you go.
Brave. Okay, look. Up until this point, because Frozen didn't come out yet, this was the first Disney Princess Pixar movie. There hasn't been any before or any since.
Didn't Frozen come after Brave?
We're talking Pixar movie. There's been no other Disney Princess Pixar movie.
Oh yeah, because this was the year that Pixar came out with a Disney movie and Disney came out with a Pixar movie.
What's Disney's Pixar movie?
Wreck-It Ralph.
Right, you're right.
Because Wreck-It Ralph looks so much like a Pixar movie, and then you have an actual Disney princess in Brave, which is Pixar.
And so and then she was the first princess who didn't have a love interest.
Because she was still before Frozen?
She was still before Frozen.
I mean, I'm trying to think now.
Hold on.
Can we really say that John Smith was a love interest in the first Pocahontas, though?
I mean, how about no, other male supporting actor? She didn't have a male counterpart.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was no male counterpart there.
Listen, for a long time, until I met you, I was convinced I was going to, grow up and just, be single forever. This sounds really sad.
I rekindle your faith and love.
It wasn't even that. It was just, I had this expectation of how I wanted my life to be, and the adults in my life were no, that's not how other human beings act. And I was I remember when I was 9, right? I remember going to my mom and my dad and being listen, weddings are big, because in my life growing up so far, weddings were these huge deals with 100, 200 people.
God, that's too many.
Or that's what my young brain remembers, okay? Hold on, give me a second. And so I was listen, I know it's a thing where the honeymoon is a thing. I didn't know what consummation of marriage was in that sense, in the physical sense, but I did know that my husband would want my attention. And so I told my parents, I was listen, the day after my wedding, I don't want my husband to talk to me because I will be too tired. And my parents were no, your husband's going to want your attention. And I was then I don't want to get married.
Is that why you like Brave so much?
And so I think that's part of the reason why I liked Merida, because when she got all of her suitors and she was I don't like any of them. They all kind of suck. I was I get that.
This was my first time watching Brave all the way through.
What?
I generally knew what happened in more or less the order that happened. The only one that threw me off was the brothers being bears. I thought that was much more prevalent in the movie than it was, which the brothers are by far my favorite characters.
I knew they would be, because I think of this movie and I think they're literally there for comic relief. I think Disney went through a test run of just the three of the dad, the mom, and Merida, and they were no, it's too serious. We need comic relief. And so they added the lady with the big boobs.
Yeah.
And then they added the three brothers.
The three brothers to me make the whole movie. But
did you notice they were never given names? They're just
boys. Well, so I only have a handful of memories attached to this movie.
Mm-hmm.
One being the opening song, because I know it from the Happily Ever After fireworks show that's done at Walt Disney World. Mm-hmm. And even though me and Megan have never been to Walt Disney World,
We do love Happily Ever After.
We have watched that show so many times on YouTube. It is amazing.
And Jordan Fisher and I can't remember.
I don't remember
the singer's name. Did a fantastic job, and we love Jordan in this house.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I remember like seeing that sequence on the Cinderella Castle, and then the other part that like always like really stuck with me was I lost it. Oh well.
I'm thinking about in Wreck-It Ralph Breaks the Internet, where Vanellope goes into the rooms
and no one can understand
and
Merida.
they're like, that's the princess from the other the other studio. And the reason that's so funny is, fun fact, so the actress who plays Merida, who I forgot to look up before this recording, like I said, I'm sick, so please bear with my brain. She had a very thick Scottish accent, and so she was like asking Disney, like, do you want me to like go hard into it, or do you want me to like soften it up a bit? And obviously soften it up. But when they were doing Ralph Breaks the Internet, they're like, go as deep into that accent as you want. Go off the deep end. And so I just think it's so funny.
Well, I also think it's funny because like the third suitor,
yeah,
whose dad has like the really nice mustache.
Yeah.
He's like that way. Like you can't understand at all what he's saying, which I love. If you had to pick a suitor, which one would you pick? Because I know my answer right away.
No.
My answer is easy picks.
None. I mean, Merida.
What's wrong with the one I like, the one you couldn't understand?
Okay.
I know what's wrong with the other two. That's self-explanatory. But what's wrong with him?
Okay, so the guy who you can't understand is...
I think he's like from the MacGuffin tribe.
I can't remember the difference, to be honest.
Yeah, you talk while I think.
Okay, listen, let's break down the three suitors. So there is the young one who like has like the weakest and the smallest, right? And why I don't like him is like...
He's from Dingwall. I know that much.
Dingwall. And the reason I don't like him is not that he's the smallest or the weakest, is obviously his dad was trying to like boast about like what he did. And he like won out of luck. But like, I would want the person who I'm to be with to be honest. Not to like try to like overbrag about who they are.
But that's faulting him for his dad's actions.
And I don't like his dad. But like the other thing is he just lucks into things.
That is true. Like his whole thing was he was lucky, and I'll agree that his dad is the worst of the three.
Yes. And I feel like, look, we aren't who our parents are, but like we also have been influenced by our parents. So it's like nature versus nurture. And I'm like, how much of like...
Yeah.
And he also doesn't talk much throughout the movie or do much. And
he is like one of the first to speak up about like
tradition.
About like, yeah, I want to like marry someone who I love or whatever.
Yeah, but like with how little he speaks, I get the impression that he just lets his dad make all the decisions, and I like a significant other who like speaks up. Now let's talk about the middle one, the one who
the one that like threw the fit.
Yeah.
Through the arrow, like the bow and crap, and Merida was like, well, that's attractive.
Yeah, well, that's attractive. Well, I feel like I don't need it. Like,
that's self-explanatory there.
You know how some people are like, oh, my husband is literally my fifth child? That is the vibe he gives me. Like, no, I want to date an adult.
He's worse. He's the type of person, like, he reminds me of like that's like the most red flag guys that you could imagine.
Yes. So I'm like, nope.
Like the aggression, the like full of himself attitude, show-offy, jockey, just no.
No. And then the one you can't understand. And listen,
he seems like such a gentle giant is my thing.
Does seem like a gentle giant. One, we don't have enough screen time with him to be like, yes, I 100% fall in love with him, like you do with almost every other prince, minus maybe Snow White.
You're not wrong.
And the other thing is, I like talking to my significant other. Fun fact, that's why half of the reason why we created a podcast. Like, we also wanted to talk with Jonelle, but like, there's three of us. And if Sean just did not talk, this podcast would just be me and Jonelle, and that would be boring. So like, I like talking to my significant other. What me and Sean usually do is just to have really deep conversations.
It's true.
So like, to have a significant other that just I couldn't understand would break my heart.
That's fair. I really like him because in part also because of like the dads. Like the other two are too much. Like Lord Dingwall, one is creepy and everything else. but like, and the guy with like the ones with like the long hair or
Mhm.
whatever, just too much energy again, too showboaty, full of themselves, that kind of stuff. That third tribe, again, I can't remember which tribe that is.
I'm literally looking it up.
Like, it is like the dad was like the most normal.
That
You looked
picture.
at the picture.
We gave our baby some chocolate today. By we, I mean my husband.
I gave our son chocolate, and it was a mistake, and the pictures we got from it are hysterical.
Okay.
But the dad, like the leader of that tribe, like that clan, was the most controlled and respectful, but also his presence commanded respect. Like he was intimidating in the way that I would expect from a Scottish, Irish, like clan to be. You know? Did I lose you?
I'm looking up clans. No, I am paying attention. They were like like their presence commands a room is where you were
Mhm.
at. Yeah.
But like he was always controlled. He never like blew up like the other two did. Like
Macintosh is the one.
not Macintosh,
Dingwall.
not Dingwall,
Thornbroach.
not Dumbrock. Other one, the fourth one,
MacGuffin.
MacGuffin. That is MacGuffin. I knew it. Yeah. So the MacGuffin tribe like is the one that like I really like, and yeah, his son does seem like a big, gentle, cuddly giant, which I love because like you'd also see like he's just like a little timid. Like he just needs to, like speak up a little bit more. He talks really quiet, and the Scottish accent doesn't do well with quiet people.
No. So, and then we all love Merida.
Merida, I commend her on the loophole that she found
Oh, yes.
because I heard it and my ears perked. I'm like, there it is.
There it is.
There's the loop. I call myself the king of loopholes. Megan
does.
can tell you this.
It's like the best thing when you need to get out of something. It is the worst thing when you try to make a deal with him and then he finds the loophole and you're like, I just needed you to mop the floors.
It's true. I like to get myself out of situations, and it sucks when you're on the other end of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, when Merida found the loophole and she's like, well, I'm the eldest. I have to fight, apparently.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, yes.
Yeah.
That is what I like to see.
Can we talk about Little Merida for a second?
Little Merida was adorable. The scruffy red hair.
Listen, I don't think I think I talk a lot about this in the podcast, but I grew up in a very sheltered home. Not because like my parents were like particularly like, you may not see the outside world, Megan, but we grew up in a very, very white area with nothing, with very little like cultural influence from anywhere else.
In contrast to me and Jonelle, where we were like grew up very much with like near reservations and stuff, Megan did not.
I did not. No, it was very white. And so I didn't meet a person who spoke another language than me until like I was in middle school. Like it was wild. And Merida was the first person who I like encountered. Even though she was a Pixar character with like super curly hair, and I was so fascinated like that by that. I was like, her hair is so cool.
Mm-hmm.
And like the way it bounces and moves in the movie, it's incredible. Her accent was like the coolest thing. I kept trying to like replicate it.
You can tell they took advantage of like the software for Rapunzel's hair
Oh,
with
yeah.
her hair. My God.
Maybe this is just coming from like a place of like my mom and I don't have the best relationship. We're not on talking terms anymore. And I'm not going to get too much into why, but like
Does it make it difficult to like see this movie and stuff?
it used to be really difficult when I was like in the trenches, as it were, where like in movies, when you're in a situation where you don't have the happy ending, you're in like the climax or like right before it, like the rising, when you're like talking about like story maps. It's really hard to watch movies that have a like a nice conclusion because you're in the middle of it. I think when I liked this movie, but there were parts I would fast forward. Sean can like tell you that like when I watch it Inside Out, I will fast forward through scenes that I literally can't sit through without having secondhand embarrassment. There are just things where I just have to fast forward. Loved ones like to tell me that I take on a lot of emotions. It's because I was like in control of like balancing everyone's emotions to making sure everyone was okay. So when I was watching a movie, that was even more emotions I had to take care of. And so now I just fast forward scenes as long as it's a movie that I have seen at least once. So that way I can just get to the parts where I find it enjoyable. But yeah, no, her mom, Elinor.
Oh my gosh, she's a control freak.
It was so bad watching this movie when I was growing up because I My mother wasn't that big of a control freak, but she did like things to be done. She had a view of the world she wanted to impart on me and my siblings, which I can understand. We're parents now. We have things that we want to teach our son. We want our son to understand music and to understand empathy and to like know how to share and not to throw a fit in public. But like, and also like how to do math, because one day, hopefully, he will have to do taxes and we want him to know how to do a tax.
Oh, and don't worry, I'll teach him like some nice, quick, witty, sarcastic insults.
And how to like make a meal for like himself. I love how mine is like how to survive in the world 101 and yours is like how to be sassy.
Hey, I'm just thinking about Merida during the whole like her and her dad making comments about the like archery skills of the 3 suitors and how they were making digs. And I'm like, that's 100% me and our child. We're gonna be those quick-witted insults.
Oh my goodness. But like, and I understand that obviously you could tell that like the mom was put into a marriage that she didn't exactly want. She says as much in the movie. And the dad's reaction to that is so funny. Like he was so oblivious to the point that maybe a teenage girl didn't want to get married.
I had like while we were watching, I actually had to Google like who was actually like the royalty in this because like most like royal families, like you have like the true monarch and then you have like a consort typically of some kind. And so like with Queen Elizabeth, she was the real monarch, Prince Philip, because was like just like the person she married. She was the true monarch of England. And so I actually had to Google like who was actually like the true monarch for the clan of Dunbrock. Didn't get anywhere, but it kept on saying that Fergus, Merida's dad, was like a figurehead and that everything was up to the queen. She's the one who was the political leader. Fergus was just the bullheaded figurehead king who just fights the bear that chopped off his leg.
We hear it, Merida describe what happened.
Oh, it's constantly described what happened to his leg.
No, why he was chosen as the king.
I don't remember this.
Oh yeah, so like, do you remember that scene where like Merida's mom is already a bear?
Yeah.
And they have to get up to get the tapestry.
Mm-hmm.
And so all like the gentlemen were fighting. And so she is like trying to understand what her mom is saying while she's like pantomiming it as a bear. Then goes up on her own little tangent. But apparently there was a
war and like all 4 of like the leaders had like taken turns like protecting each other basically and like had each other's back from like northern invaders.
Yes. And then they decided that Fergus was just like they all looked to him, right? They decided he was like the main guy. And so and that was what made her the queen.
Yeah.
Was their teamwork versus like any of the other 3 and their wife.
I wonder why we never saw their wives.
We never saw any female from the other clans.
No. I'm really curious. Like, I would love to see Merida talk shit with the other sisters.
I know. This is what we don't get in these movies. I also was obsessed with whips. The wisps.
The wisps?
The wisps.
Oh my, I can't get over.
So cute.
They're so cute, but I can't get over the little, like, detail of, like, you can see their, like, little arms saying, come here, come here. Like, I thought that was, like, they're so tiny. I remember things.
Yes.
So, Once Upon a Time. Megan has never seen Once Upon a Time.
I've seen the first maybe 5 episodes. It's a really, really hard TV show to watch.
As an adopted kid, yeah.
As an adopted kid, because, like, the first episode...
first season.
The first episode, let me finish my thought, please and thank you, was literally Snow White versus what's her real name?
Regina?
No.
Evil Queen?
Snow White in the real world.
Oh, Mary Margaret.
Mary Margaret is talking to, like, Emma, the main character, and she's literally like, oh, well, he's adopted, and he was wondering if he was, like, worth it. And I was like, oh. And, like, it's hard to watch, and it literally, it makes me go into a very dark place.
But the reason I bring up
watch it.
But the reason I bring up Once Upon a Time is because in one of the seasons they bring in Merida as a character.
Merida.
And even though like the movie ended all peacefully, Once Upon a Time likes to twist the tales a little bit. And the 3 suitors actually kidnapped Merida's brothers because she refused to marry them.
Oh, that makes me angry.
Like, it was a whole thing, and, like, I think Emma, like, helped, like, get her brothers out and stuff. I can't remember the full details,
How old were her brothers?
I don't remember. It's been a while since I've seen that specific season, because Emma's the dark one, it's a complicated thing.
I'm not even gonna question it, because if I asked a question, it would take 3
that'll lead
episodes.
to the mother of all tangents.
Yeah, no,
You know what movie I weirdly always paired this movie with?
what?
The Tinkerbell's Secret of the Wings.
I don't see it.
I don't understand it. It has to do with the music, because I pair it Into the Open Air, which is like the only real song you get in from this movie, with the song that's in Secret of the Wings or whatever. I can't remember what it's called. I think it's like The Great Divide.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess they have similar, like, folk music vibes.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Like, both movies weirdly give me this weird folksy vibe. Even in that specific, I don't get it, but I for some reason always like pair these two movies together in my head.
It's also, like, when you're watching Brave, so, like, Scotland is beautiful. It's gorgeous. I've never been, but, like, I want to. But it's, like, disguised as beautiful, and we see, like, Stonehenge. I almost went to go see Stonehenge.
I would love to see Stonehenge.
But, apparently it's, like, a letdown. Like, you pay a lot of money just to see some rocks.
I don't see what people were expecting. Everyone knows it's just rocks.
But what was I saying?
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. And you know what the fairy movies are really good at? Nature.
That is true.
And so, like, when you watch, like, a Tinkerbell movie, you're just like, oh my gosh, nature is so pretty. And then sometimes you go outside and you're like, I wish it was as pretty as the Tinkerbell fairies made it. And that's how I feel about, like, in Scotland. Like, watching this movie, I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to get my own Angus and just, like, gallop through the woods and follow some, like, wisps and talk to crazy old ladies who carve bear statues.
Something I appreciate this movie for doing is, like, I feel like with every other princess movie we get,
Both parents are alive?
well, yes, both parents are alive in this movie. But, like, in every other princess movie, they always explore the wilderness of some kind.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always, typically, like, animals are always the cutesy, happy animals. Like, I know, like, even in Snow White, like, they tried to make it, like, they made the forest look
Dark and scary, but then it turned into, like, light and happy.
But they never bring up the other side of, like, the forest animals.
The bears.
And, like, this movie was like, no, we're not gonna just have, like, these, like, squirrels, bunnies, and whatnot. No, we're gonna bring in a literal killer bear, which also, if they knew this bear existed, why the heck would they allow Merida to go get, like, little baby Merida to go get her arrow by herself in the woods?
Hear me out. Hear me out. When you live with a danger for so long, you kind of forget that it's dangerous.
That is a very true fact.
It's the most human fact. Like, it's like the sensation or, like, the psychological thing when you smell a smell and you just are in the same room as that smell, and then your brain is like, I can just, like, cancel that out.
That's an actual, like, actually that can happen with, like, all of our different senses. It's an actual, like, biological thing where your body will reduce the stimulus because it's just like, this is ongoing. It's not important. You can tune it out.
I wish my brain could do that. Thanks, ADHD.
It does. It just takes a lot more for you to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think it's, like, the same idea. And, like, who knows how long it was, like, before. Like, we don't know if his leg was, like, taken after that.
I'm pretty sure that's the story.
Before that.
It was my understanding that it was that interaction that took his leg. Was how I took it. But I think the other point, as you were saying that, like, is also, like, how long was the last sighting? Like, after this one sighting, no one has seen the bear since until this movie. Or, like, the timeline of the, like, main part of the movie.
Which is crazy to me. So, like, let's say Merida's, like, 5. And then so she would have been, like, 15. Because, like, we have to think she has to be at more than 14 to be married in the Disney canon.
Yeah, because she's at age.
She's at age. She's 16 years old. So I was 1 year off. So let's say she was, like, 5 when she was, like, during that scene. So then 11 years later, that bear is still alive and kicking. And that's an adult bear.
Well, and, like, we know that that bear is Mordu.
Mordu.
Which was also, like the eldest brother in that story that we hear that, like, went absolutely crazy. So, like, because he was the last one to take, like, the witch's spell, there's probably some kind of, like, weird immortality factor to it, considering
how many skeletons we saw.
well, and like you can see like how damaged that bear was. Like he had like spears and arrows sticking out of it, and it wasn't budging him. Apparently, like he was like asking for like the strength of like 100 men, according to the witch and stuff. So like
Strength of 10 men, but yeah.
you know what I mean? Like so it's yeah, I don't know. The whole like thing was like with Mordu was kind of odd. I liked it, but it was odd.
Okay, listen, I really love that story of like there was like a beloved king who decided to give his kingdom to his 4 children, and then one child corrupts it all.
Hear me out
Yeah.
on something. Like, just hear me out. Okay.
Yeah.
I would have loved this movie took a Shrek approach, because at the beginning of Shrek, it's Shrek narrating like the classic princess tale of like she was locked in a tower, is gonna be rescued by
Prince, yada yada yada.
whatever, and then that's all bogus or whatever. Rips out the page, wipes his butt, and all stark place. I would have loved it if this movie were to like if it started off with the story of the king and the 4 brothers, and it doesn't give away that older brother turned into Mordu, but I was like, it's an ominous beginning. I would have loved that kind of intro, or like if Fergus or even Elinor were to be telling the story to little Merida,
the grandma in Moana.
kind of like, yeah, similar to that idea. And you see like, and then you have like the whole picnic scene and she's coming, and then you're like, you're like, what the hell's the bear? And then like we learn later on, because now that we have that initial learning of the story, because I feel like the way that the queen told it kind of felt a little past, because Merida wasn't paying attention to it. Merida was like, I know the freaking story, Mom. And so it kind of really glazed over that story. And so I feel like if you gave us that more foundational sense in the beginning to like get us into the movie, and then you have like the picnic scene Mordu, and then you there's that connection of like, oh, Mordu's the brother. I don't know, I feel like that just makes a little more sense, like storytelling wise to me.
Okay, but like I hear what you're saying.
Mhm.
I just want to play devil's advocate.
Please do. I
real
like
quick.
it. I like devil's advocate.
Okay, so I don't know. We were talking about the brothers before we started for actually recording, right? How the brothers were your favorite?
No, that's been said. How Merida's brothers are my favorites.
Okay. I can't remember. Sorry, it's been a long day. We were talking about like there was probably a test recording with like out the brothers, and Disney was like, too dark.
Yeah.
We need some life. They added the 3 brothers. I am wondering if there was a cut where they did have like that part. And I'm thinking like, what vibe would it give off?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering if it was too foreboding, like to have the knowledge that's given to 4, and then it falls. If you even look at it, like Merida has how many brothers?
3.
She's the eldest?
Yeah.
She's the one who was like, I want to change my fate. She knocks down the tower. I'm wondering if it would have set into a darker, put the emphasis on the dark story instead of just it's the difference of focusing on the shadows versus just letting them exist.
Because this movie, I feel like, has a couple different messages it tries to send. Like the main one, obviously, was like the Freaky Friday plot, of you have to respect each other, see the other perspective, etc., and then things get all better. But then the other, she said, when she was talking with the clan leaders, and she brought up that story, and they're like, we all know that story, it's just a legend, and she goes. And then she says what her mom said of legends are born in truth, or rooted in truth, or something like that, which I really like that message, because older stories, you always hear ancient Chinese proverbs and such, all these different legends have something to them, which our stories are have grown from.
Yeah, that's why fairy tales were originally created. I mean, fairy tales, when they were put into books, were to teach kids things. Pinocchio was about not telling lies.
Yeah, but I don't know. I guess if it was me, it would all depend on how they transitioned to the rest of the movie, because you can have like Beauty and the Beasted with like the stained glass, and it was like just zooming out on the dark castle, very shadowy, rainy, dark, and then it just fades to black title, and then you open with Belle, the song, and the princess. Whereas this, like, how would you it would all depend on how they would decide to cut from the story to we're having the picnic and stuff, that's shooting arrows, that whole thing. It would all depend on how they make that transition. That would be how like they would, in terms of how they set it up.
What did you think about the mom? Sorry, I know like we were just talking about like
Oh, the mom, like I said earlier, she's such a control freak. I cannot stand her.
I love her. Look, there are plenty of flaws in her personality. But you saw it the moment she put Merida's bow in the fire. She reacted out of emotion. She tried to like take it back, and during her time as a bear, she really like stepped outside of herself.
You're not wrong. That scene with the bow brought a lot of redemption for her. A lot. But I could not help, and obviously, like, again, like, there's it has a Freaky Friday plot. Get the other perspective, like, take yourself away, that whole shtick. But I can't help but think about, like, one of our, like, so Megan and I have been, like, watching Supergirl lately on Netflix, and that episode we had just watched had, like, Supergirl, like, extremely pissed off. She had all of these repressed emotions, had to remain controlled, and I couldn't help but, like, acknowledge that that's kind of like what was the case here. She kept on saying that, like, no, a queen / a princess has to like shut up, hold her tongue, hunker down, be all respectful and everything, be proper, poised, collected. Like, it kind of showed the damage of like, if you try to keep all that within without expelling that, it can lead to like dangerous consequences, hence the bow incident. And then like you saw that like as she was a bear, she had moments where she lost control and saw the damage, which I think is like one of those other subtle messages that they didn't even discuss. It just happened, which is like that whole idea of like showing and not telling. So I think that was like a bigger piece to it. Like, yeah, we all know she cares about Merida. We saw that from when she was little. In terms of the relationship between the king and Fergus, like
Fergus.
Between Fergus and Elinor, they definitely needed to figure out what the hell they were doing as parents.
But I love Fergus's relationship with both Merida and with Elinor as like separate individuals. Fergus respects Elinor so much.
He is in like complete awe of Elinor constantly. Like, she very much like, that's my wife.
It's so sweet because most, as we've alluded to earlier, most Disney couples who are
don't
parents
exist. They don't exist.
Or are dead.
This is like one of the few times we actually get a set of parents to bicker.
And not only they bicker, but they obviously adore each other. Like, genuinely love each other.
Like, there's genuine love and genuine devotion, which is like hard to depict in that, and I feel like in these kinds of like stories.
Yeah. But like when I think of when Fergus was like trying to talk to Merida about being married, and she's like, Merida.
It's like I'm gonna say it's like in the older times of like a dad trying to explain a female's time of the month to his daughter as a single parent.
My God, it's true.
It gave me the same vibes.
Oh my gosh, yeah. But like, and how those two like, and then how Fergus and Merida just like jab at the suitors, and you can tell like she has the utmost respect for him. He has the most like faith in her, and like it's very sweet.
I feel like he understands his role as a dad, and it's not traditional, but Elinor wants to stick with tradition, and I think that's where the clashing is, because he is the fun dad.
Very much.
But he's also like, he respects his daughter very much. He trusts her. He gives her a bow at like age 5.
He does.
Like, he sits down to time to talk with her. Like, for such a big, burly man, you would not expect that softer, gentler side to like sit down and show her like how to shoot a bow and stuff. And like, he was probably the one who taught her how to ride a horse and all of those things.
Angus was my favorite character.
Angus was beautiful.
Oh my gosh. So I was a horse girly growing up. I loved horses. My aunt owned a horse. I rode that horse once or twice. And then every summer up until high school, I would ask to have like my 1 week for summer camp to ride horses because my sister was allergic. Like, not deathly allergic, but like she would get really bad. So like those were like living out my horse girl dreams, but I would have books and just like dream about like going to the farm, helping with horses all the time. And so like Angus was like one of those dreams, right? Because all other animal companions are tiny. Mushu literally can like just sit on Mulan's shoulder. Hey, like Moana could carry him around.
You're
like
not wrong.
Flounder also is just like tiny. All animal companions for Disney princess, like Pascal, literally just sits on Rapunzel's shoulder and has like a personality. Angus is just a horse.
See, I'm like having to like really think about it because technically, I'm trying to think because we have a lot of horses in Disney.
But none of them like Angus.
Belle, I think, would be the only one that has a sidekick that's a horse.
I mean, I guess
I think
Maximus.
most of the horses are paired with the princes. The only princesses that have horses are Merida, Belle, and Mulan, the cow.
And then I'm going to give Rapunzel a 0.5. Maximus is not.
I pair Maximus with Flynn because that's their relationship. Like from the beginning of the movie, it's Maximus versus Flynn.
Yeah. That's why I said 0.5. Because those two only get along because of Rapunzel.
But like the horse with the most personality, though, I think has to go to Prince Philip's horse. Like Samson has the most personality of all the horses.
Yeah, I like Angus. Angus acts like our cat Nova.
Yeah,
It's the most. I'm food motivated, and I mean, no offense to Nova, our beautiful cat. Angus probably follows directions better.
Yeah.
But Angus is just a horse.
Yeah.
That Merida actually feeds.
Yep.
I love it. Sorry, I totally got like sidetracked on that.
No, it's okay. I mean, yeah. Angus, what I liked about Angus was that he wasn't just a horse. Like, he did play some part, like how he wouldn't go past the stones and such, or in like how much Merida had to like not really nudge him along a little bit.
Which is like working with an actual animal.
But a very pretty horse, because I feel like all the other Disney horses, they're all princely.
Yeah.
You know, like very well-groomed, sleek. This was like a rugged horse, like big, thick boy.
Let me talk a little about horses. I'm not like 100% a horse girl, because when I was little, there was definitely more that I knew. But in Scotland, they had working horses versus, I guess I'm going to call them show horses, which is what like you think of when you think of like, I don't know, Prince Philip riding. But Angus is definitely like a workhorse who is like made to like do harder work, and that's why he is more muscular. That's why he's thicker.
And I think that's just overall the other part about this movie I appreciated was that it was much more rugged. Like the castle wasn't pretty.
No, it was stone.
It was like what I would typically think of also in like that castle with like the space brick type of look. Just very rugged, mossy, stony, not pretty.
Yeah, not like, I don't know, any other Disney castle.
Not every other Disney castle, they're made to be like immaculate perfection. Like you see it, you're like, it's beautiful. This one was like, hell no.
This, like, you wouldn't want to see this castle at a Disney park. Because you'd just be like...
Personally, I would, but...
But, like, if you walked into, like, I don't know, Disneyland, and this is the castle you saw, it wouldn't be, like, the awe moment.
No, it wouldn't.
It'd be like a, huh?
That thing? It looks like it looks only half built. And I think, like, along with the ruggedness, I was astonished with the vulgarity of this movie. I mean, first, it was, like, Lord Dingwall lifting up his kilt, being like, feast your eyes, which I knew was there from, like, the promos when the movie came out.
Yeah.
But then you had the whole scene where they had to, like, use their kilts and stuff to climb down the tower from being locked on the roof.
Yeah.
And it showed their butts.
The butt cheeks.
Like, Disney showed butts. That's never happened.
Not once, but twice. Because in
3 times.
The scene with the, like, where the people who were turned into bears turned back into people, Elinor was like, I'm as naked as a wee bab. And he's like, what? And then the wee babs.
And then you also have, like, the big-breasted maid
Oh my
at
gosh.
the triplets, like, torture, basically.
Poor woman. But like also,
Like, the fact that, like, they dived down for the key and, like, it zoomed in on her, I
yeah,
was like, "Damn! Pixar is not playing."
like if that was made today, so many people would be so angry.
As of right now, yes, because we're way too, like, hot-tempered.
Yes.
Way too touchy.
But I wonder, okay, I wonder if she was added for like humor.
Oh, well, that's what you were saying earlier, like, I think the relationship between her and the boys really helped round out the story a little bit more, because I definitely agree without them, it would have been a lot more serious, and I feel like the fighting between Merida and Elinor, or even the differences between Elinor and Fergus, would have been, like, left with very empty scenes. Because, like, for every serious moment, you need something to break tension. If you don't have anything that naturally breaks tension, it's just dead space, and it's kind of just.
I'm sorry. I'm having a thought, but yes, continue.
And so I feel like it really really helped flesh out the story to have the maid characters and the triplets, especially since, like, the triplets clearly have, like, they're not, like, fighting with Merida at all. Like, there's no infighting within the family itself besides Merida. And the queen is, like, the only focal point. Her and her brothers get along great
For the most part, yeah.
and stuff, and, like, she was, like, all up for their games and stuff, and, like, them as cubs are adorable.
They're kind of anti-heroes in this story. Not like Deadpool, where it's like, but they're just like, you know what they are? They're chaotic neutrals.
They are chaotic neutrals.
Chaotic neutrals, yeah.
But, like, they're like Huey, Dewey, and Louie. Like, they're just, like, really fun. Like, they're little boys in every sense of the words, but, like, there's nothing out of malice for them.
Okay, I want to talk about the tapestry.
Yes.
Okay, so I've been thinking about it, and my brain just like had this epiphany moment.
Mhm.
Okay, so we all know that like for Mordu, there was like this big rock, and it had like the four of them, and then he split it down the middle. Which, like, if he wanted to mend that, I don't know how he would have.
I think the mending of the tapestry or the rock was not the specific point.
I think it was mending the relationships.
It was 100% the mending of the relationships, and I think what really solidified it was her saying, "I'm sorry, Mom," because she finally did her part on, like, taking away her pride of, like, "I'm sorry I did this to you. I know that you love me. I know that you were trying to look out for me." Like, she finally accepted her perspective when she said, "I'm sorry." Just as Elinor finally accepted Merida's perspective during the whole puppetry charades shtick.
Yes. Anyway, back to the tapestry. So if you look at it, it's like Eleanor awkwardly holding hands with Merida, and then like on that side, there's like the dad. So I was wondering, and there's like when I'm thinking back to the scenes of like Eleanor on Angus, like trying to like repair it, I don't actually remember seeing the three little boys, either because it was draped away or because the boys were added later in development.
I never paid attention to that. We'll have to, like, go back and look. But I have a feeling it's probably just because of, like, how he was positioned on Angus, which kudos to her for trying to sew on a horse that is running at full speed.
Right? And not liking him in the face with branches. Anyway, the reason I bring it up is because the tapestry one, as someone who does like craft, but mostly like I do some embroidery, I do crochet, I'm gonna learn how to knit. Those are slow crafts.
You know what's something interesting about the tapestry that I don't fully get?
Yeah.
Elinor made the tapestry.
Yeah.
She made herself separate.
Literally, I was thinking about this. I have an idea. Okay, hear me out. I think that we were talking about how like Fergus and Merida are like tight, right? They're like constantly goofing off together. You can tell that like they like enjoy each other. And then like the boys are, I mean, dad and young boys.
I'm like, you see it with me with our son.
Match made in heaven, y'all. So I'm wondering if she feels, because she's like uptight and proper and like she
responsible
and like refined, that she feels like she's an outsider, and so that's why she feels so separated. And I wonder if that's why she put herself on the outside.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense because I've been in, like, I know we both most people can say they've been in like situations where it's like, I don't feel like part of a group, or
Part of the in-group, yeah.
or whether that's like work related, friend related, whatever,
Family related, yeah.
activity related.
Mhm.
Like you often like there is like we've all had that experience where it's like you feel like the outsider, and I feel like it really comes to show that like through Eleanor's arc, where it's like maybe there has to be something about you that has to change. If it's like one of those really important things to you. It's like that one saying where it's like, if everyone else thinks I'm the problem, then maybe you actually are the problem.
Mm.
Like if it's one person that has an issue with you, that's one, like maybe it is that person's issue. But like if you have a lot of people saying there's a specific issue about you,
Then maybe it's actually
maybe the problem is you, not everyone else. Or I don't remember how that saying specifically goes, and so I think Eleanor needed to loosen the reins a little bit, a lot of it, and really come to like see what was on the other side in order for her character to grow to feel like she was part of the group, of her family, which I know ties into like the whole plot point of the movie. She needed to understand Merida, but I think it grew like subtly was beyond Merida in that it was her whole family.
You know what this movie reminds me of? Encanto.
And Freaky Friday.
And Freaky Friday. But I'm speaking Encanto. And hear me out. Because I feel like if Brave was made today, they would have made a tragic backstory for Elinor.
Probably.
And, like, Abuela from Encanto has a horribly sad story.
Yep.
Horribly sad. Oh my gosh, I'm not gonna cry thinking about it. It's fine. But I think Abuela and Elinor have the same control problem, except the difference is Eleanor's trying to control Merida. Abuela's trying to control
Everyone.
her entire family. I think it's really interesting because we know, like, because they exclusively told us, not exclusively, like, they told us explicitly in the movie what Eleanor's backstory is without having to do a giant musical number. Because in this movie, there are no musical numbers. And we know that she was probably married young, considering the context. She didn't want to be married. And by what all she was teaching Merida, she probably, a comment she made to Fergus, she was like, well, I didn't have the resources. She should be happy that she has them. So she probably is trying to teach Merida all the things that she needed to know to be a good queen and to be successful. So my guess is she really struggled at first with like how she presents. And I think it's really interesting that they told us, like, we had the context clues to figure out what Eleanor's backstory is and not have to like make it into a giant scene versus Abuela, who they made it into like.
Yeah. They didn't have to tell us Eleanor's side for us to understand Eleanor's side. I think the only thing they could have done without ruining the integrity of the movie would be if they were to add at least one or two scenes as Merida was aging, Eleanor trying to tighten the control, and Merida, it just not happening for Merida. Again, it's hard to do because if they were to have tried to give us any more backstory on Eleanor or give her a backstory at all, and explicitly tells, I feel like it would have ruined the integrity of the movie.
Or like do it in a way that like is like Abuela, not like giving us like little bits of dialogue that like, I don't know, like.
It's one of those things where it's like it's in the details.
Yeah.
Like if you don't look for it, you can still understand. Like, okay, yeah, she's the mom. She's trying to teach her how to be a princess. There's all these rules, and Merida's getting pissed off. Like these are a lot of rules and stuff. Any kid growing up understands the feeling of having to follow a lot of rules
And not being told why.
Exactly. And so it's such a relatable experience that it doesn't take explanation for us to understand. You don't have to give us a whole backstory to explain to us why she's this way. Because as far as a kid's concerned, she's being a parent. She sucks. She's a sucky parent to a kid's eyes.
I mean, I get it, because I'm one of those teachers who have a lot of rules. And for the record, it's not because I don't love the kids I work with. But it's literally like, we don't run in the bathroom because I had a kid trip and fall and hit their head on a sink and they got a bloody nose. We don't stand on shelves because you could trip, you could fall off and really hurt yourself. And like, when you're pushing buttons of those, like I have to constantly remind you, like, no. They're just not doing the things that are yeses.
It's true. And I feel like in Merida's case, well, specifically the topic of this movie was like being marriage. I think it's the one evil of a royal, like of a monarchy, basically, because the issue comes like at some point you have to.
Or
The kingdom's gotta have a ruler.
yeah, how about just like a leaders in general?
Like, I would honestly love to see a movie where they have the princess abdicate the throne.
Ooh,
Let a sibling take the throne and let
Frozen. Like Elsa left,
Elsa left.
and then Anna became queen.
She became like the leader of like with the forest and such with like the magic side. But like, let's take this example. Merida did not want to marry someone. Let her abdicate and let one of her brothers,
When they're of age,
come into being ruler. Why does the like Ellis have to be a ruler? I would love to see that kind of plot point be the ending of a movie. Let them abdicate and really choose their own fate.
to be like a painter or
Mhm.
hunter for Merida. I don't know.
Exactly. Like that, I think that would be such an interesting like detail to have.
Or hear me out. Like you could abdicate it to the brothers, but let's say that like they're like 5. Now, let's say like she can't do it to the brothers for like many reasons, but like abdicate it to like people that, well, obviously in the movie we don't really see Merida has any friends.
Yeah.
We only really see the suitors and her family members, but like seeing her abdicate it to other people who are her age who would be really good at it.
Well, that gets touchy just in like the politics, because when you abdicate, it's just saying like I don't want to be it, so it goes to the next in line, which in this case would be Merida's brothers.
But like they're 5.
But again, like it goes to that same point though of like it'd be an interesting plot point just in the short, because it is the one evil of royalty. They have to be married, which is why almost every Disney princess we have has some kind of love interest. Typically, the only one truly is this one, but it's still understood that she'll eventually marry someone. It's just going to be her choosing.
Well, she never says that.
She says she wants to decide her own fate, and like she wants to choose someone who like if she's going to marry someone, she wants to be able to choose them. She wants to be able to actually have that love, all those things. She doesn't want it to be forced on her like it was.
You see, the thing is, I always assumed Merida was the most ace.
Oh, 100%. Her and Elsa.
Well, like when she is like looking at all the suitors, none of them look appealing to her.
No, but she never said that. They never said that she couldn't. It had to be one of those 3. Because like the other 3 said, yeah, I want to marry for love too. I want to pick who I want to marry. So the whole thing was like they now have the choice to pick who they want to marry. But the thing is, the royal side of it still exists. If they want that like bloodline and stuff to continue, I think Merida is like cognizant to understand her royal duties. It's the arranged part that's the problem. She wants to be able to make that choice herself, not be forced upon her. Because they basically, that's all they did. They looked at her and said, oh, we're going to have the 3 clans come and present eligible suitors for you. And she's like, what? No, I pick who's eligible for me, and I don't want anyone right now, especially not from those 3 clans.
I mean, yeah, I guess in my head, it was like, she's like, I'm not ready at all for this conversation.
To be fair, she's 16. That's the whole thing.
Yeah. And so for me, I was like, it's the option to marry someone if she wants to, or to not marry someone.
Yeah, she's given the choice.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the politics of it, because if she doesn't, she is next in line to like rule the clan. The clan's gonna go off to the side unless like I don't know like if like the brothers actually are able to like fill in the line after her.
Who knows?
But,
who knows?
Or if like something happens to her, it would probably go to her brothers because they would be considered next of kin. But sorry, we hit a good topic.
I know, but I should probably go to sleep.
Yeah.
And we have things to do.
So bye friends. Check out our next episode next week, our last princess like episode on Aladdin,
which is one of our favorites.
Bye friends.
Which is wait, hold on.
Oh what?
Because it's a live
it's
versus the animation.
Yes, we'll be talking about the live and animated one.
Yes.
So, bye friends.
Bye friends.